Okay, hello everyone, and we're back for part 2 of our series on how to make a top-down shooter in depth. And today we're going to be making the player. So we're going to make a sprite, and it's going to be pretty basic. I'm just going to name this SPR player, and like I said, it's going to be very basic. We're going to make this 72 by 48. Now, whenever you're making a top-down shooter, it's a good idea to make the gun or whatever weapon, like make the player facing to the right, because that is basically 0 degrees in Game Maker, if I'm thinking of that correctly. But we're gonna edit this image, and I'm gonna make a circle, and I think C is for outline. Yep. And if we go like this, and then I'm gonna get this rectangle tool, and I'm just gonna go out like that. Now I'm just going to paint bucket this in with black, just like that. That's a very basic player. I'm just gonna center that like right there, and then we can go ahead and press escape on that, and then we can create a new object, call this obj player. Make sure you name it the same as what we had in the camera event too. You can go ahead and give it that player sprite, make it solid. Now we're going to go ahead and add a create event, and we need to define a few variables here. So variables, we're going to set R speed, because we're going to have smooth rotation as well. You can make this as quick as you want, but it's nice so if you have the player looking in one direction, you instantly move to the other, it doesn't snap. It'll rotate around on either side that's closest to it instead of going directly to it, because it's kind of a cheat in top-down games if you do that, because you can just instantly flick on someone and it's not very realistic, and we're going to focus on the more realistic side. So I'm going to set this to 20 for now. We're going to set up a direction variable, a shortcut for that. That's going to equal 0. HP equals 100. Vary for our gun, if we have it, which we do, is going to be 4. And then H speed, I don't know if we need this or not. I think we could just use the built-in. Yeah, we're just going to use built-in. We don't need that. And then we need the speed for our player. That's going to equal 3. Actually, we'll make that 4. And then the SS speed is going to equal, we'll do 6 for that. And we also need a cooldown, so cooldown equals, you can make this wherever you want. I figured 11 is good. It works really well. It's a good realistic fire rate for a weapon. So now we need to go ahead and set up the movement. This is pretty basic, so if we add a step event, this is going to be all movement and firing. So now we're going to say H speed, which is our horizontal speed of this object, is going to equal keyboard check ORD. You can make whatever you want. You can do VK instead of ORD, but I'm just going to say ORD. The right key is going to be D, and then minus. I think I'm in the right one. Am I? Yeah. Okay, so then minus keyboard check. And for this one, we're going to do ORD, and this is going to be our left key, so that's A. And then at the end of all this, we're just going to say times speed. And then we can copy this, and we can paste it. And this is going to be vertical speed, so the vertical speed of this object. And this is going to be our key down, which is S, if we're using WASD, and then our key up is W. And now we're going to add sprinting, so we're just going to say if keyboard check, and we're going to say, or no, we're going to do VK. We're going to use shift for sprint. You can make this whatever you want. We're going to say SPD equals SSPD. And then we're going to say if keyboard check released Then we're gonna say VK shift. So if we release that sprint key, then we're gonna set speed back to equal 4. And there we go, that's sprinting. And of course we need collisions so we don't like go through walls and such, and even enemies. We're gonna say if, then collision circle. Then in here we're gonna say x plus length dir x 6 comma direction. Yeah, and then plus our horizontal speed, and then we're gonna say y plus length dir y, and then you need 6 direction. This 6 is basically how many pixels in front of our player we're checking, kind of, in a way. And then we need minus vertical speed, and then we're gonna go ahead and add a comma there, and then 32 for our radius. Yeah, 32. And then the object, this is going to be an object called obj parent. Now this parent object is going to have children of solid objects like the walls, like stuff you want the player to collide with. We're gonna have kind of a global parent that controls what the bullet can collide with and what the player can collide with. You can have 2 different parents for this. It might even be better if you're gonna make it very drawn out game and have a ton of objects and everything, but for now we're just going to have 1 parent for all of that. Oops. Okay, and then we just need precision 1 and not me 1. Now open brackets, now we're gonna say h speed equals 0. So if we're colliding, if inside this collision circle is the wall in our direction and 6 pixels, then we're just gonna stop moving. And we can actually copy this and paste it here. Now we don't need to change any code in here. We just need to say v speed equals 0. In fact, we can actually, oops, what did I just do? V speed. Okay, there we go. What we can actually do, oh, nope, we do need to change this. Instead of plus horizontal, it's minus, and then instead of minus v speed, it's plus v speed. There we go, that's why I had it 2 different lines of code. Okay, and now we need to set up that smooth rotation that we were talking about. So this is smooth rotation. Oops, why am I can't spell today. Okay, so we're gonna assign that direction variable to equal pointing in the direction of our mouse, which is oops, x, y, mouse x, and mouse y. So now direction is a shortcut for where our player is facing. Now he's facing in the direction of the mouse. And we're gonna do image angle, so we have to adjust how the image is portrayed and what angle it's facing. That's gonna be plus equal the sine of degtorad and then direction minus image angle, and then all of this times our rotation speed, which is r speed, just like that. Now that is smooth rotation. Okay, and then we also need to kind of assign a failsafe if this is just a test, but this is basically the enemy or our player death. So if HP is less than or equal to 0, we're just gonna say room restart. We don't want to go in depth on all this other crap that we have, you know, death screens or score or anything quite yet. So that's the basics of a player. I think that's it. That's all we need. for the player. So we can actually go to the playroom here, and we can place down our player right there. Now I'm gonna set this to be 16. Okay, we need the camera in here. Add in a camera, and let's check one thing real quick. Okay, we need to go into our room editor and go to viewports and cameras, and we need to enable viewports, and then clear viewport background, and then viewport 0, set that for visible, and we're just gonna set this to 1024 by 1280, and then 720 for that 720p that we're looking for. Okay, and then we're gonna set this border to be 640 by 360, which is half of our view, our total view. And we're gonna actually change this room size to just be 2048 by 2048. And there we go. Now you're not going to be able to see how this smooth camera works, so we're gonna add a group for sprites and call it backgrounds. And I'm just gonna create a sprite. I'm just going to import a background that we can use for this. I'm gonna go to my D drive and use one of these. We'll just use this brick texture here. That should work. And if we just name this B_play, for our play background, there we go. And then if we go into our play, go to the background layer, change this to be that background play, and we got to make sure we tile that horizontally and vertically. So now make sure in the menu we have our buttons. Okay, so if we click play, I'll let it build here. There we go. Now all these work. Oh, I forgot one thing with the buttons, but if you click play, okay, we have an issue. We did parent. Okay, so we have to create that parent object. It's literally a blank object, and check the solid box. Now if we click play, and there we go. We can move around. For some reason that camera isn't working, but our smooth rotation is working. You can see instead of snapping, it moves around to the side closest that the gun is to. That's pretty cool. Alright, did I forget to put the camera in here? Nope, that's the camera. Seem to have an issue. Well, I wanted to downscale this size of the room anyway. We're gonna make this 1800 by 1800, just a little bit smaller room. And also for the buttons, we forgot to do add event mouse mouse enter. Now this is gonna be image scaling again. We're gonna say image x scale equals 1.2. And then if we go to mouse leave, we could say, this is also image scaling. We could say image x scale equals 1, which is back to the default size. So if we save that. Alright, I need to figure out why this camera isn't working correctly. Probably something really basic that I forgot. or it could be different. I have no clue. But also, I noticed when we ran the game, it was very like pixelated kind of. We're gonna smooth this out. We can do display, reset, and then for and true. This is graphic intense. You can change this. You can change this to false for VSync, and you can change this down to 2 for anti-aliasing. Now, if we run this, you'll see these buttons now kind of bubble like that. If you click play, it's still really weird. We'll add one more thing for this. We could say GPU set text filter and just set that to true. If we run this, maybe it'll look a little bit different. Oh yeah, that's definitely a little bit different. Cool. Okay, it's not even following the player. I'm really confused. I'm very sorry about this. Player.x. Oh, forgot this. This is times 0.5. We need to be able to move this instead of just setting that. What's wrong with me? Okay. This is all correct. Okay. Now we should be able to. Maybe it'll work this time. No. What in the world is going on? We didn't set the new position, did we? No. So after this here, we need to put camera set view position. Now this is view camera, and this view camera is target, and our X and Y are going to be our new X and new Y. And now this should work. I don't know how I forgot so much code. Oh, there we go. That's much better. And there we go. You see, this distance is how far the camera travels from the player. And we're going 132 pixels from the initial start, which is right here, to here. It's 132 pixels. So now, if we move around, you can see it kind of. If I don't move my mouse, you can still see that it kind of slowly moves to our new position. And then if I move my mouse and move, I can really get that field of view out there, and I can see what's going on. So if I exit out of that, I'm going to change this distance to 100. Actually, we'll do 96. And you can see the difference from the amount of distance we have. And see, there's very little distance, and it's not as drawn out now. And that's for that. And as you saw, the player can move and everything. And we're just going to add a quick sprite here. This is going to be SPR wall. And you can make it as big as you want. I'm just going to keep these sprites nice and small. Edit image, and we can just throw it in as black. And just create an object for that, obj wall, make it solid, and for the parent, make the parent that parent object that we had. And now if we go into the room, this is 32, cool. Now I'm going to move our player out a little bit. I'm going to drag in that, oh, I forgot the sprite. I'm going to drag in that wall, And I'm just gonna drag it as big as I want this. Pull out another one here, drag that to the other side. And by scaling it in the room editor, you can reduce the amount of objects that are in your room. So now if we play this, we should be able to collide with the wall. That 6 is quite a large... Alright, we're going to change a few things in our collision. We're going to change this to 4 on both of them. And this radius we might have to change if that didn't do anything, which I'm not sure if it helped too much. Yeah, it helped a little bit. But we're gonna go ahead and downscale that radius to 30. Actually, make it 28. It looks like we should change this to 2. Cool. Now we should get more of a precise collision. It looks a little bit better if you have some space in between there anyway. It's not jamming up against it. Cool. And that's some smooth collision. I can actually set this to 24 because I don't think it's changing too much. Actually, our collision mask might be off. We might have to modify that. Nope, that worked. Cool. So now we have smooth collisions. We have the kind of smooth camera here, and the screen shake also works. We can go ahead and implement that real quick by going into here. Now this is going to be firing, and for now I'm just going to say if mouse check button pressed, our left mouse button, so MB left, we're going to say obj camera dot shake equals, and we're going to do 15, so we make that really exaggerated and dramatic, and you'll see how well that works. And we might have to stand next to a wall to see it take place. And there we go. There's some screen shake. Kind of wiggles a little bit, and the more you fire, the more it's going to shake, and then it slowly comes to a stop. And you can do it on the move too, and you still have that smooth camera. So it's kind of an all-in-one. We're getting there. We're making something here. I think next time we're going to add in some better sprites. We're going to get firing to work, and we'll start making some enemies in the tutorial after that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next tutorial.